In the Downbridge Current were notified of this meeting. Copy of same posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building and on the municipal website. The meeting will come to order. Would you please stand for the flag salute? Attention, salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Tom, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Becker.
Here.
Mr. Blumberg.
Here.
Ms. Talby.
Here.
You have before you minutes of our July 3rd meetings. What is your pleasure?
Make a motion that we approve those minutes.
I'll second that.
Mr. Becker.
Yes.
Blumberg.
Yes.
Ms. Talby.
Yes.
At this point, we'll open for public comment. 3 minutes on any subject.
Sewell, 22 West Drive. I know the recollection powers are limited, Mayor, but I had asked you before how many times you took a sworn oath to uphold the New Jersey State Constitution as mayor. And you said you didn't know last time, and I informed you that you took it twice. And I recall that it was that big, tall judge with the gray hair, and you swore to uphold the New Jersey State Constitution. Unfortunately, Mayor, I don't know whether it's lack of intellectual wherewithal, but you're not familiar with the New Jersey State Constitution. Because that document, Mayor, calls and mandates a thorough and efficient education. If you happen to look at that handout, Mayor, that nice colored one with the Caucasian girl, that cost in Margate for the same education is $30,000 per pupil per year. Now, through the magic of thorough and efficient and complying with the state constitution, our neighbors can do it at $10,000 to $15,000. And if you're really truly worried about the 7,500 workers and 10,500 if Revel folds on August 6th, as Jay Lamont correctly predicted before the first brick was laid, Mayor, it's time that you stop defrauding the taxpayers and bring the cost of education within reason. And you can do that because, unlike your hand-picked crony appointments to the Board of Education, who have no sense of fiduciary duty and fiscal conservative direction, your buddy Mikey, Mayor Mike down the street, he has appointed a host of fiscally conservative Ventnor School Board members, as well as his right-man hand, Alberto Albi Battaglia, and he has informed me in person that they're ready, willing, and able to take K-3, which is 200 students, and absorb them under shared services. And even if we pay the higher amount, let's say we don't give them the 10 grand, we're generous, we give them 15 grand as opposed to 30 grand. You know how much that makes in a yearly savings, Mayor? I realize that your math is as poor as the 8th graders. The 8th graders, 25% of them can't do basic proficient math. And I'm afraid you can't do it either, Mayor. You know how much that saving is a year, Mayor?
How much would that be, John?
I'll tell you.
Okay.
Because I can do math.
Okay.
Because if we didn't do math, Mayor, it'd beat the living hell out of us.
Is it 2 million, John?
No. Because 15 grand times 200.
Oh, no, you said you were going to, 15 grand. Okay.
15 grand, we could do it at 10, but
More than 2 million.
3 million, even at the higher cost. Even at the higher end, it's $3 million savings.
15 seconds, yeah.
And I'll tell you, Mayor, what $3 million would do. It would lower property taxes. And it would help people stay in their homes when the bank wants to foreclose against them. Because part of the mortgage payment includes the real estate taxes. I'm sure the city clerk could tell you that much. And I'll discuss that real estate taxes in the next portion of the meeting, because I, for one, take a very dim attitude towards usury and usurious rates, which you are inflicting upon the poor, unfortunate people who are being laid off. I'll explain that later for you, Mayor, in terms that even you can understand.
Thank you, John. I appreciate that.
My name is Harold Klein at 100 North Huntington Avenue in Margate, New Jersey. I'm here today to tell you about the tremendous storm that we had on July 10th at the little area at Winchester and Huntington Avenue. Not only do we have to put up with the flooding in the area, but we have to put up with the trucks, the SUVs, the cars, and all they do is push that water up against the house and create a lot of dirt and mulch, sand, which is very difficult to handle after a storm such as that. I thought about this many years ago. We used to close down Granville Avenue to prevent any traffic from coming down through to Jerome Avenue. But that doesn't exist anymore, and I thought that was a very, very good idea, but for some reason, we are not doing it today. I would also like to ask a question here in reference to trucks coming through Winchester Avenue. When you get to Jerome Avenue, there's a sign there, no through trucks. What happened to Fredericksburg Avenue, where Margate begins, and there's no sign there, no through trucks allowed? I think that should have some favorite sign put up to stop through traffic from coming through. The third thing is, we've been talking about a pump that's going to be put into service, and I'd like to know when this is going to occur. 15, 20 years we've been talking about it, but I haven't seen anything as yet. Is it possible that I can get an answer?
The latest time frame, Harold, is the probably fall of 2015.
Okay. At least we have a date of that's going to be. But 15 is a long year. Is it going to be the beginning, the middle, or the end?
The fall of 2015.
The fall. Okay. The other item that I refer to is the through traffic that comes through now is much heavier on Winchester Avenue than it has been in the past few years. And the reason being is they're diverting going from Ventnor Avenue or Atlantic Avenue, which could be diverted, and they're coming through Winchester Avenue to Jerome Avenue. And when the trucks come up to that Jerome Avenue area, they can't go through because there's a sign that says no through trucks. And I'd like to see if that can be corrected and put a sign up about Fredericksburg.
Chief, why don't you call Mr. Fox? I'm going to have the chief call you at home sometime, all right?
I'd appreciate that.
My pleasure.
And thank you for the time.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Dan Gottlieb, 407 North Nassau. First of all, I want to commend all of you for reaching out to the law firms that you did and getting these opinions. And I hope that we'll learn a little bit more about that in an hour or two. There was an article in the paper last week in the Atlantic City Press written by Wallace McKelvey. It was entitled "No Easements, No Dunes, No Exceptions for Shore Towns." It's published on page A1 on July 11th. I want to just point out that I think there's an important distinction between Margate and Harvey Cedars, which was mentioned in that article. Mr. McKelvey states in his article that Harvey Cedars beachfront homeowners seeking compensation for signing over easements to the state to construct dunes have resulted in reduced awards relative to what those homeowners were seeking. He points out that the reason for these reduced awards is due in part to the perceived benefits that the dune project provides them. As attorney Kenneth Porto states in the article, Quote, "The key issue is what benefit does the dune provide upland property owners?" End quote. Nowhere more than Margate is this statement more relevant, in my opinion. If there was no bulkhead, the state could and has made the argument that homeowners are deriving a significant benefit from the dunes. There is no bulkhead in Harvey Cedars. And therefore, those homeowners may be giving up easements and views or whatever else they're giving up, but they're getting something in return. What is Margate getting in return? There already exists a structurally sound protection mechanism, the bulkhead, that won't wash away in a storm. Even by Mayor Becker's own admission in the article, many people in Margate believe the dunes would be redundant. The existing bulkhead system would provide the same protection without the hassle and potential long-term cost of the dunes. Margate is very unique in this regard. If this project continues to move forward, I suspect that some Margate owners being asked to give easements will balk. And I hope they listen to this audio feed on the internet, because the potential for more significant court awards relative to those given in Harvey Cedars could pose a significant threat to the progress of the project in Margate. For those owners being asked to provide easements, do not let the Harvey Cedars awards deter your pursuit of appropriate compensation. You already have protection. And certainly this is not the only argument that could get in the way of this project. In the interest of democracy, I suspect that the attorneys hired by the City of Margate will render an opinion that will support Margate's ordinance and our votes and give the Commission additional resolve to go to bat for the 65% of the people who voted no. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. Anyone else?
Steve Warner, 103 North Sumner Avenue. I was just at the stormwater symposium or what have you, and also I've read this in the paper. They've tried the bulkheads in other municipalities in New Jersey and around the world, and the bulkhead does not stop the water, okay? What it does is it makes the erosion even worse. Okay, and they've tried this. That's exactly what not to do, is just bulkheading. And I asked the question. They had a couple of doctors and what have you. And I was very surprised really at the answer. And I said, if there's going to the Army Corps is proposing dunes here in Margate and beach replenishment. And with this, they're talking about the rising of the ocean, which apparently they think within the next year the ocean's going to be about 2 feet higher. Of course, none of us will be here, but in any case, the ocean is rising. And I said, would the dunes and the replenishment help with this rising water? Would it be neutral with the rising water, or would it be negative with the rising water? And they said the only protection that the island could have is dunes. The only protection that would work, and they specifically said that the bulkheading does not work, it causes more erosion, and that's the wrong thing to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
Sharon Simon, 424 North Thurlow Avenue. Steve, if you could provide the public afterwards with the days, I'd like to know who these professional experts are. As far as the articles in the paper, there was one today, Longport grants easements. A particular concern that I'm hoping that we can get this information verified. It says that the DEP and the Army Corps signed a project participation agreement on June 23rd for the Absecon Island project, which spans 8.1 miles from Brigantine Inlet to Greater Egg Harbor Inlet. I'd like to know if that means that we have been signed up for a project. Also, I commend the mayor on his quotes. in the article that Dan referenced, in particular, says earlier this year, Deputy Attorney General, that was the letter we got from the Attorney General on February 26th, told Becker the state would do what it had to do to get the easement. Becker's response, quote, "I'd never sign off on them." And at the end it says it's fun being in politics. I guess it's fun for you. But really, it's been a long battle. We've tried to do everything we can to uphold the people's will. I believe that's an opinion statement. However, I want to point out that when you say, "I won't sign any document," in reference to the letter is suggesting, stating that Margate has no legal basis for our ordinance, but if it still bothers you as a commission, you could repeal it. And they're asking you to cooperate and voluntarily participate in easements, which I think what you're saying in here, and I'd like you to verify that, is you're saying no. As a commission, we will not rescind the ordinance, and we will not voluntarily participate in the easements. So that if down the line we find out legally the state can come in and get them, it will be the state against the homeowner taking the property, and it won't be the city. I'm pretty sure, and you guys, again, that's what I'm hoping you guys look at, that they can't force Margate to take the easements. You would have to pass the resolutions to do that. And every other project so far, which makes us, again, different besides the bulkheads, is that every other municipality has agreed to join the project, and we haven't. So we're different in a number of ways. Finally, I just want to say, well, probably not finally, but February 26th letter ends with, "I hope this letter addresses to your satisfaction any remaining concerns about Margate voluntarily granting shore protection easements to the state and cooperating with final design of stormwater discharges measures on portions of Margate's beaches by instructing Margate Municipal Engineer to provide information that will be beneficial to Margate after the project is constructed." We would be happy to address any additional questions you may have, but please contact us with all due haste, as we cannot afford continued delay. I look forward to your response, and I'm optimistic that we can work together to protect the citizens of Margate and New Jersey. That was on February 26th. There has been no communication written that I am aware of to the Commissioner, to the Attorney General, since this letter, despite our group asking for it, Commissioner Blumberg asking for it. Also, after the meeting, Mr. Deeney's report, it says here, we are assured by the Commissioner, Martin, that Margate would be given every opportunity to work along with and comment on drainage concerns and solutions, as well as access issues. Has not been done. Everything was quiet. We asked you to respond. Implicitly, tacitly, you approved for them to go ahead by not having any communication back. And as a result, on the 5th of June, you announced in here, "Hey guys, you talked about attorneys, no one got any. They're here. They're here," and the DEP, Martin, 45 minutes ago, on the phone, told me that the DEP signed a participation agreement and that the Army Corps is going to be signing it quickly. So we're up against the wall. These are your words. They're going to take it. We're going to go. So you have this letter to talk about, these letters, these issues. What I would like to find out, what people would like to know is, A, are you going to provide some communication to the DEP as you're stating to the Margate public that we will not repeal our ordinance, not that we're required to, but we won't, to make it easy for them, and that the commission, the city, will not voluntarily take easements. And also to insist that our drainage issues are taken care of. And very quickly, the last letter you wrote, February 24th, about the article about Wildwoods and Margate, and you said a number of Margate residents have pointed out this statement to me. Please clarify the state's position. Is Margate being treated differently than the Wildwoods? Will the Wildwood communities be advised that the state of New Jersey will issue a declaration of taking? I ask these questions of you with due respect. I need to be able to address my constituent concerns. February 24th, I've asked you numerous times. The last comment you made to me on the record was, you ask them, you call them up and get the answer. You're the mayor. Please take care of it. Thank you.
Just come on up, please. I'll be very brief. I understand that you're frustrated because of a lack of written communication. I will tell you that I had a phone call yesterday from the DEP, from Bill Dixon, who once again asked if Margate was willing to sign the easements voluntarily. I said, that will never happen. Okay, so you'll have to talk to Mr. Dixon. I can't speak for other people, Sharon. Okay, thank you. Sir?
Mike, I just want to clarify one thing, and I appreciate you telling us that, because that's the position that we need to take, that we are not going to sign over our
That's the
easements.
position that has been taken from day one.
And so I appreciate that. But my question is, has there been any other communication that I'm unaware of related to the DEP and the Corps and their plans? I mean, for someone to write in the paper, for a responsible reporter to write in the paper that we're part of some greater project that we know nothing about, that I have not seen any plans, I haven't seen any correspondence. I mean, have they delivered to us plans that, to you or to Scott or anybody, that shows, what they're going to be doing on our beaches? Do we have those plans?
I do not. What? I think Mr. Wahlberg has plans about the construction, what the dunes will look like. He's probably had them for 7 or 8 months.
But specifically related to the drainage, the drainage issues that we have.
issue is something that's been promised that we will have
And
input
the
into.
pier issues that
The
we
pier, they have
discussed.
agreed to extend the pier. We've announced that here in a public meeting.
And we have that from them in writing?
We do not have that in writing.
So, again, and one of my big concerns is related to the ponding that we're going to see between the bulkheads and these dunes. And I know that Ed is on board in writing that we were not comfortable with, that apparently they told us, you designed the drainage system. And we said no, correct?
I believe that is correct.
And so there is no drainage system designed. And they haven't formally presented any type of plan for us to review and or sign, any agreement.
As far as I know, Maury, we have nothing in writing.
So if they're doing anything, they're doing it without us, and yet stating to the public that we're included. Is that, am I?
I don't,
Is that? That is correct. That's correct. Okay. So, and not that I have to agree with Sharon, but I will. I truly believe, and I said this, and I know that we have a new resolution that we just passed. We need to get on board with a strong letter to them confirming your telephone conversation. We're not giving you our land. And you know what? If you want to take it, so be it. But we're not going to sign it over, Bill, or whoever else is asking you. I think any business transaction that's made, any telephone call, any email today that's sent is replied to officially. I think we have an obligation to respond officially to these people. Hey, based upon our telephone conversation, I'm reiterating, we are not giving you our property. Case closed. Can we do that?
sure we can.
Okay, thank you.
Seth Lear, 109 South Argyle. I was just wondering if Margate has considered the impact on tax revenues if the dunes are enacted. For those of us who do live in the beach block, and I believe roughly 35% of the taxes come from beach block residents, I may be off a little bit, but generally, if our property values are impacted, setting aside the value of the house, arguably yes or no being protected, the underlying value of the land has been impaired. And I know from many, many, many people I've spoken to, we will seek tax assessment and reassessment and dramatically seek to reduce our taxes because of the impact of lost vision, views. And I don't know what that is, but if it's a 50% reduction, which it could conceivably be, that's 17.5% or so of the city's taxes that will go away if the dunes are built. And it may not be that exact number, but I can tell you many of us are willing to expend quite a bit to make sure something like that does happen. So I just want to make sure that you all consider that when you contemplate what the true cost of putting dunes in would be.
Thank you, we will.
Steve Gizacki, 112 North Lancaster Avenue. I have a question. Are we going to redo our city plan, our master plan?
I'm sorry.
Are we going to be doing our redoing our master plan? I heard you mention that at the last meeting.
It went 2 years, didn't it? I think 2 years. I think it's 2 years. 2 years, I think.
We have to do it every 10 years, I believe, right? And so in 2 years, we're up.
Yeah.
Because the last time we did this was in 2006? I think so. Is that right? Because I'm just thinking about the impact of the quality of life on my block alone. One of the worst things I hate receiving is that certified letter that says that people want a variance. And it happened to me 3 times within like the past 4 years. And I go to the meetings because I always oppose the fact that they want to build turn 4 into a 5-bedroom house. One of the reasons is because of the impact on the parking that it has on my block. And it has had severe impact on my block. Where houses had driveways, long driveways that they would put their cars in, they're not there anymore. The last house that wanted one and got their variance, they have less than a 7-foot driveway. It should be 7, but when I say 7 foot, I mean it's the house and then the neighbor's house. Not the house, but they have cobblestones there, so you can't pull into the driveway and get out. So consequently, a lot of people are not using their driveways. And I noticed this up and down the city, because I ride my bike a lot, and I see a lot of people are not using their driveways. They're using their driveways as patios. And the traffic on our street has gotten severe. I noticed that on on Washington, Jefferson, Adams, Monroe, all those streets have like turned into condos where a lot of the aprons now for the driveways are the street, and there's no off-street parking anymore. And that's a concern of mine. And I'm wondering if, when we go to do the city planning, if we're going to address these issues, because the parking is very bad. And on that note, are we ever going to start opening up the beach block for parking to alleviate some of these? Because I miss parking in front of my house. Because the parking, the houses, especially July 4th and Memorial Day, these houses are these private little motels. They bring in all these people and they just flood the street. And there's so much people there. That's just an issue I wanted to bring up.
Thank you, Steve. And anyone else? Is there a motion to close public comment?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Blumberg?
Yes.
Talby?
Yes.
Is there any public comment on resolutions or second reading of ordinances?
Sewell, 22 West Drive. Mayor, I realize that ordinance number 29 is a first reading, but for that second reading, Mayor, in the spirit of transparency, let us have the old range as well as the new range. And furthermore, a stipulation that $26,000 per annum perk of medical coverage be stipulated on a 32-hour minimum per week basis, because I'll Oprah those hours come December 30th, and I want to see a bare minimum of 32 hours to qualify for that $26,000 medical benefit package. Moving on, Mayor, you said in the work session that you wanted to think about helping the poor, unfortunate casino workers laid off. Unfortunately, as Harry S. Truman said, thinking ain't worth a warm pitcher of spit, Mayor. Ain't worth a warm pitcher of spit. Actually, it was actually a little more vulgar. He wanted to say a warm bucket of whatever you might imagine. But anyway, getting back to this factor of wanting to do something, you don't really help the mayor with this resolution number 162. I don't know what you consider 18% per annum, but I consider 18% per annum not only a kick in the teeth for people who are down on their luck and down on the ground, but I consider it a usurious rate. The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, for years on end, had a maximum cap for debt of 1.25% per month, working out to a per annum rate, City Clerk, of
18.
no, 1.25. Listen up. It's way beyond the maths of the mayor's ability. It's late. 1.25. Pardon, solicitor?
State law.
You cannot charge less?
It's state law.
That's the maximum, is the state law. What is the minimum? I don't think there's a minimum. This is a usurious rate. I would imagine that that would be the maximum. And I would urge, if you're really worried about these casino workers, perhaps go back to the 1.25% per month or 15%. It would be a small token, a small step in the right direction. But part of the problem, Mayor, is that thinking about helping these casino workers doesn't quite cut the mustard. The point of considering it is to see the bigger picture, Mayor, which eludes you, and I'm afraid your two cohorts up there. But the point of following what is being done in Atlantic City, the point of intervention that should have gone beyond thinking to acting was when Caesars Entertainment Corporation slapped a restrictive covenant upon the sale of Claridge. When you restrict the highest and best use of a property going forward, you in effect reduce ratables. Now you might say, well, what do the ratables of Atlantic City have to do with Margate? But when we're being kicked in the teeth by the county because the ratables are dropping in Atlantic City, we begin to see a causal connection. But I didn't see you dispatch...
15 seconds.
I'll use them judiciously, Mayor.
I'd appreciate
Most
that.
judiciously. You didn't dispatch the city solicitor to object to that restrictive covenant. And I'm sure there wasn't any solicitors around back in the day in the 50s when they had restrictive covenants along the parkway. Nobody stood up and said anything. And likewise, nobody's saying anything today, Mayor.
Thank you, sir.
Shame on you. Shame on the solicitor.
About him.
Sharon Simon, 424 North Thurlow Avenue, 165. 165. I just, again, wanted to thank the commission for agreeing to hire 2 attorneys, and appreciate the opportunity to be able to have some public comment as you go into this session, closed session, and I hope that this is a big topic, and if possible, at the next commission meeting, if we could have, sometimes you have a special public participation section, because, you know, a little 3-minute here and there isn't really enough meat to discuss this, so I'm asking, requesting, if at the next meeting we could have a little time is set aside for that, separate from the other public participation segments of the meeting. And also, if we could try to have a Saturday meeting for the summer people soon. This is a very big issue for summer people. And even though it is interesting to note that 65% of the people who voted against it are not summer people, and then you have all the summer people. So I just ask that you take those suggestions under consideration, whether you agree with them or not. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Steve Warner, 103 North Sumner Avenue. With regards to the tax assessor, I would just like to bring up that there was a case with the Harvey Cedars where the people refused to have an easement. They wanted money for their easement. They got about $750,000, I believe, from the state, and it was overturned in the state Supreme Court because they failed to put in the value of the protection of the dunes, and they were awarded $300. And then there was another case where the people they were sued for $300,000, and the state said that you're only getting $1 because they failed to put in the protection provided by the dunes. So I urge the tax assessor not to raise the beachfront homeowners because of the additional protection they're going to get from the dunes. Keep the taxes the same. Thank you.
Seth Lear, 109 South Argyle. I realize I was impolite. I should have started by saying I appreciate all that you guys do, women as well. And after sitting through a session tonight, I don't envy your position having to be where you are, but thanks for your efforts, for considering the various arguments, and appreciate you listening. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Anyone else? Motion to close public comment.
Mike, I do. I have something on 28, ordinance 28, and I know that there were a couple of cases in town that precipitated us drafting the modifications to this ordinance, and before I voted on it, I understood that one of the cases on, I think, Rumson was, handled, and my question is, are we resolved? I know, I think, that we met with the folks on Quincy. Are we resolved on Quincy? I went by that property the other day, and that monster porch is very, very obtrusive. And so I was wondering if we're resolved there.
Scott, at the last meeting, I asked those people to asked Roger to arrange a meeting with those people. I know that meeting took place. I don't know the results of the meeting.
As far as the city is concerned, city lifted the stop work order. As far as the private individuals, I have received some phone calls. They are kicking it around, perhaps to file some kind of action to challenge the city's zoning approval. It wasn't a zoning board approval. Zoning approval of those structures, but I do not know of any attorney representing the neighbors either for the Quincy Avenue one. For the Rumson Avenue one, I believe the neighbors have backed off and they're not going to sue the city. But I don't know about Quincy Avenue yet.
And I think the resolution that 28, it's to deal, it's so that aberration doesn't happen again. It's from this point forward.
Yeah, that's correct.
That is correct.
And again, my only concern was that I guess I was hoping that the people that were negatively impacted by the gigantic porch that's being built were satisfied with whatever conversations you and Roger had with them before
They're actually very upset about it.
Okay.
And in fact I've been told by several of them that they are strongly considering suing, but they haven't done it yet.
In that regard, would it be in our best interest, do you think, to pull the voting of this ordinance at this time?
No.
Until we have a resolution there?
No. But then we might have more of them, 3 or 4. Instead of having 2, we could have 4, 6.
It's to prevent this from happening,
Prevent it.
so it's important that I think that we pass
The
it.
action is done. If they file suit.
I understand that, but I guess my point is, are we tacitly admitting guilt here by passing a resolution in the regard that we have a case and we are threatened by legal action? Now we're passing an ordinance that says, okay, this is never going to happen again.
Well, but conversely, if you don't pass the ordinance, it can happen again. So
All right, I just wanted
it's the
legal
best of
opinion.
bad choices, so we're
Okay.
going to change the ordinance. Quite frankly,
Okay.
I was satisfied with the ordinance in the first place, but okay.
Well, you've helped.
To eliminate this,
You've helped me.
we're going to go with this change.
Okay.
We're done. Motion to close public comment.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Blumberg?
Yes.
Mr. Talby?
Yes.
Tom?
We have second reading of ordinance 27 regarding the signs, sizes of signs as previously discussed.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Blumberg?
Yes.
Mr. Talby?
Yes.
Ordinance 28 as just discussed.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Blumberg?
Yes.
Mr. Talby?
Yes.
Ordinance 29 is first reading for the salary ordinance. Second reading is August the 7th at 5 p.m.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Blumberg?
Yes.
Mr. Talby?
Yes.
Ordinance 30 is amending Chapter 257 for handicap parking at 112 North Delavan.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Blumberg?
Yes.
Mr. Talby?
Yes.
Resolution 157 authorizes payment of claims from payroll.
Make that motion.
Second.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Blumberg?
Yes.
Mr. Talby?
Yes.
158 authorizes payment to Jersey Door for $195.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Talby?
Yes.
159 authorizes payment to Colmar for $1,639.81.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Mr. Blumberg?
Yes.
Mr. Talby?
Yes.
160 approves tax lien redemption, $109,774.12.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Blumberg?
Yes.
Mr. Talby?
Yes.
161 accepts the 2013 audit.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Blumberg?
Yes.
Mr. Talby?
Yes.
162 extends the due date for third quarter property taxes to August 18th.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Blumberg?
Yes.
Mr. Talby?
Yes.
163 authorizes the execution of the New Jersey Clean Energy Program.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Blumberg?
Yes.
Mr. Talby?
Yes.
164 authorizes acceptance of the proof of loss for Hurricane Sandy flood claims.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Blumberg?
Yes.
Mr. Talby?
Yes.
165 authorizes the executive session as previously discussed.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Blumberg?
Yes.
Mr. Talby?
Yes.
Okay, it is 6:42. 5:42, excuse me, I'm wishing my life away. We hate to inconvenience you, but we're going into executive session. Right? What possible litigation, right?
I see Nanette left. Did we get her a copy?
Pardon me?
I see Nanette left. Did we get her a copy?
I told you. I'm waiting, you know,
So,
so she could have it. If I didn't lose her card.
Okay, say that again. To reconvene.
I make a motion that we reconvene the meeting.
Second.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Blumberg?
Yes.
Mr. Talby?
Yes.
You're back on the record.
Wow, that's easy.
Should we go on the record and say something?
Yeah.
Yes, you should. Okay. You want to do that, Scott?
Scott, you want to summarize what we're doing?
Yeah, go ahead. Scott.
Okay. Summary of, the governing body's now come out of executive session for the purpose of, they had discussed in executive session the two legal opinions submitted by Mr. Yoskin and Mr. Goldshore. Governing body has determined to release those legal opinions to the general public so that the public at large can digest them and have interaction with the elected officials of the city of Margate, and that we will take this up in two weeks, our next regular meeting.
Actually, it's 3
Did I leave
weeks, I
any-
believe.
3 weeks it is. Did I leave anything out? Nope, that's it.
Okay. That being said, is there a motion to adjourn this meeting?
I'll make that motion.
And I'll second?
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Blumberg?
Yes.
Mr. Talby?
Yes.